Yeah. Okay. So if we move a little bit further into the process,
Mm-hmm.
so you have like a point in time where you need to freeze things
Correct.
before starting the development.
Mm-hmm.
How do you manage the late changes?
You can just repeat that last sentence. How do you manage to what?
How do you manage a late changes after your freeze point?
I don't know what, when you say a late, you said?
A late changes because well you try to have like a defined bomb at one point in time so that you can start manufacturing.
Uh-huh.
What happens if things continue changing after the freeze point? Do you have
Oh.
specific like protocol in place to avoid like late changes? How do you make sure that things fix?
I don't know if I'm the best person to answer that because that's where some of the development would be handed off to the purchasing and finance side. I don't know if they had relationships and metrics with their dealings.
Okay. No, that's
that freeze point, we would be leaving the development a little bit. So, my experience in the world of Cadillac, those tensions were not. There'd be massive changes afterwards. So basically, they did not have control after it was frozen, and there would just be massive changes going on. So I can't even point to something that helped allay those tensions after because those changes would take place. I can't point to a program where it was successful.
Yeah, and at Honda they didn't have like a because what I've seen so far that Japanese OEM are really good at having everything frozen at one point in time and then it doesn't change. Whereas on the US OEM side, even when there is like a defined freezing point, still things like continue moving.
Absolutely, the discipline of allowing it to move is unbelievable. I mean, there were programs that are starting this year for Cadillac, for example, that just 9 months ago, I mean, somebody changed a bend in the metal on the rear tailgate of something. And it was I just couldn't believe it. I was in shock that was even like considered. And then they basically had us study in the forecasting world, changes to the volumes and if there's a 4-week delay for manufacturing. And just the fact that they would even take the time and resources to study that was unheard of. I mean, they wouldn't even study such an issue. It just wouldn't be allowed. Yeah. So it's just kind of an internal discipline that you just can't do that.
Okay.
Kind of, to be honest, I mean, to use my words, it was very bizarre to see that happening at a large organization like General Motors.
Yeah. Okay. So just like discipline, or is there a specific process that they're put in place that prevents you to make any changes? I know that at some OEMs they have metrics where when you make like late changes, it affects negatively your performance.
Oh, I don't know if for the engineers if that was something in their performance. I don't know.
Okay. All right. Okay. Okay. And if you were to define the way the cross-functional team was working towards defining a product, what was their interaction like? Was it, so you told me it was 75% engineering led, but was it engineering having all the power, or was the finance having a little bit of power? What was it like?
It really was in proportion to what was there. I mean, the concept development itself was really in the power of the advanced planning team. I mean, the team that was innovating and fighting for the concept. We would need to convince the engineer to be on board. So I guess ultimately that is required. But for what the concept is